I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And since there's more people here than for the first time, I'd like Jerry to read the prayer again.
You up for that, Jerry? This is Remember 9/11 prayer compiled by a Navy chaplain. Almighty God, the past year will be indelibly inscribed in our memories. We looked with horror on the terrorist attacks of last September 11th, but we look with honor on acts of courage by ordinary people who sacrificed themselves to prevent further death and destruction. We shed our tears in a common bond of grief for those we loved and lost. We journeyed through a dark valley, but your light has led us to a place of hope. You have turned our grief into determination. We are resolved to do what is good and right and just. Help us to remember what it means to be Americans, a people endowed with abundant blessings. Help us to cherish the freedoms we enjoy and inspire us to stand with courage, united as one nation in the midst of any adversity. Lord, hear this prayer for our nation. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jerry. Roll call. Rita.
Here.
Kent. Here. George. Here. Bob. Here. Steve. Here. Old business. Our primary goal here tonight is to read the final, hopefully, rendition of the bylaws. Risa's going to read those. This is our second reading, and then we'll have a vote on those this evening. You're on, Risa.
The purpose of these bylaws is to outline the organization of the Lookingglass Rural Fire District, LRFD, and the Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department, LVFD, and its conduct of business as set down by the State of Oregon, ORS, OSHA, and OAR.
Excuse me. Please go ahead. I've read it.
Article 1, Section 1, names. The name of the district shall be the Lookingglass Rural Fire District. The name of this department shall be the Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department. Refer to Article 10. Board, Articles 2 through 9. Article 2, Section 1, mission statement. Our mission is to provide the highest quality, cost-effective fire and emergency services to all district members. These services shall be provided equally throughout the district and at the behest of the district members. We shall uphold the standards and conduct and reflect the values of the Lookingglass community. We shall provide accurate and complete records with transparency and honesty in each endeavor. Section 2, Principal Office. The principal office of the LRFD shall be 7173 Lookingglass Road, Roseburg, Oregon, 97471. Section 3, Corporation, which we have not voted on. Article 3, Section 1, Fiscal Year. The fiscal year for the LRFD shall be July 1 through June 30. Article 4, Section 1, Membership. Membership in the Lookingglass Rural Fire District shall be any persons living within or owning property within the boundaries of the district as drawn by the Douglas County Tax Assessor's Office. Article 5, Section 1, Governance. A, Board of Directors. The elected offices of the LRFD shall be 5 members for the Board of Directors designated Position 1, Position 2, Position 3, Position 4, and Position 5. Directors shall be elected by a majority vote in a general election held in May of odd years. A term of a director is 4 years pursuant to ORS 478.210. B, elected officers of the board. At the first regular business meeting in July of each year, the directors shall meet and organize by electing officers of the board, which shall consist of the following. 1, President. 2, Vice President Quartermaster. 3, Secretary. 4, Treasurer. 5, Communications Officer. C, appointed officers. The appointed office of the LRFD shall be the Fire Chief, see Article 10. D, voting procedure. There are 2 provisions. 1, quorum. A quorum must be present for any vote. The quorum consists of 3 members of the board. Majority vote is required. A quorum is necessary in order to elect an officer of the Board of Directors. 2, how a vote carries for board officers. Officers may be nominated by any board member. If more than one person is nominated for the same position, a written ballot shall be required for voting. The counting and handling of the ballot shall be the responsibility of the president or the presiding officer of the meeting. If the president is running for office, this responsibility will fall to the next ranking officer who is not on the ballot. Section 2, duties of officers. The board shall implement and oversee the bylaws in their entirety and the policies of the district operations manual. A, President. The president shall be in charge of community relations and information in conjunction with the communications officer and secretary. The president shall preside at any public meeting, shall sign for the district any contracts, documents, or other instruments which the board has authorized him or her to sign. The president shall set the agenda for each meeting with input from all board members and the fire chief in conjunction with the secretary. The president shall also be a member of the review board, see Article 15, Section 1B. B, Vice President Quartermaster. The Vice President shall have the responsibilities of the President when the President cannot be present. The Quartermaster shall be responsible for maintaining an accurate inventory of the fire department and value thereof in partnership with the Treasurer and the Fire Chief. C, Secretary. The Secretary shall be responsible for the minutes at each meeting and will provide those minutes to all board members and the Fire Chief 7 days prior to the next meeting pursuant to ORS 192-610 to 690. The Secretary shall also be responsible for assisting the Quartermaster in keeping an updated inventory list and shall maintain the office supplies for the district. Other duties include assisting the fire chief in monthly reports, logging all updates, changes to the district operations manual, publication of all newsletters, and responding to district correspondence. D, Treasurer. The treasurer shall be responsible for keeping the accounts and bills payable current as well as a monthly report at a regular business meeting covering the financial condition of the district. The treasurer shall keep an updated value of the district's inventory in conjunction with the quartermaster, fire chief, and secretary. The treasurer will be a member of the budget committee as assistant to the fire chief for constructing an annual budget for the district. The treasurer will also assist the fundraiser committee for the district in procurement of any funds received. The treasurer shall coordinate the yearly audit and/or self-review pursuant to ORS 297. E, Communications Officer. The communications officer shall be responsible for maintaining the district operations manual in conjunction with the fire chief and the secretary. The communications officer shall be the liaison between the community and the district concerning upcoming events, the administrator of the website, and responsible for public notifications. The communications officer shall also be responsible for ongoing research of applicable documents for inclusion in the district operations manual. Section 3, Powers of Appointment. The Board of Directors also has appointment powers. The directors can appoint an individual to a position in the organization by conducting interviews with the board. The Board of Directors can also appoint special committees to perform a task, conduct research, or create a special initiative. At the same time, the directors can remove or reappoint an individual or disband a committee as it deems necessary by a majority vote. The Board of Directors appoints the fire chief. Section 4, Electoral Powers. The board shall follow guidelines for elections set down in ORS 478-210. Section 5, Articles of Incorporation. The Board of Directors must make annual reports to local, state, and federal government revenue departments concerning the status of the organization, tax and revenue issues, and any changes within the organization's Articles of Incorporation. Directors must ensure the completion of annual reporting in a timely manner. Section 6, Vacancies in officer positions. Should the president position become vacant, the vice president assumes the president's position for the remainder of the term. The board can appoint a new member of the board by Section 3, Powers of Appointment. Section 7, Removal of Directors. A member may be removed with a majority vote. Specific reasons for initiating removal proceedings are specified in the bylaws pursuant to ORS 65.3249. One cause for dismissal is 3 unexcused absences from regular monthly meetings or 2 missed consecutive regular meetings. Others may include 1, malfeasance, 2, misappropriation of funds, 3, disorderly conduct, 4, failure to abide by the bylaws and rules of the district, 5, convictions of a felony, 6, suspension or revocation of driver's license. Section 8, Security. Whenever a board member leaves office or whenever the fire chief is replaced, all security locks and all security passwords will be changed immediately. Section 9, Due Process. Minimum due process must be followed. The accused person must be provided written charges and an opportunity to defend him or herself before the officer or committee authorized to take action in the organization. The bylaws must specify this as a quorum of the Board of Directors. The accused member officer must be notified in writing of their status after the decision is made whether or not to remove the member or officer from the organization. Article 6, Section 1, Meetings. The Lookingglass Rural Fire District will hold one regular business meeting at 7 p.m. on the second Wednesday of each month. Special meetings may be called at the discretion of the board, and a quorum is required to conduct such meetings. Meetings will be open to the public. Executive sessions may be held pursuant to ORS 192-660. Notification will be published for any other meeting, such as the Budget Committee, within a time frame determined by the board and in compliance with Oregon State laws, ORS 192-610, 690, ORS 478. Publication might include the local newspaper, the website, the marquee window at the fire station, or various prominent public locations within the district. Article 7, Section 1, Committees. A, Budget Committee. The Budget Committee shall consist of the Board of Directors and 5 members of the district. A district member's term is 3 years. B, Events Committee. C, Fundraiser Committee. D, Ad Hoc Committee. Article 8, Section 1, Amendments. Any amendment changes to the bylaws must be voted upon and approved by the board. Any vote to change or amend the bylaws requires at least 3 votes to approve said changes. Changes must be presented at one regular business meeting and then voted on at the next regular business meeting. Article 9, Section 1, Parliamentary Authority. This district shall conduct business according to Robert's Rules of Order and in compliance with all Oregon state laws, ORS, OSHA, and OAR. Department, Articles 10 through 15. Article 10, Section 1, Name. The name of this department shall be the Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department, LVFD. Article 11, Section 1, Mission Statement. The Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department meets the needs of our community by providing well-trained firefighters for response to fire, rescue, medical, and public service incidents. We protect lives, property, and the environment with compassion and a dedication to excellence. We meet or exceed the requirements of local, state, and national statutes and standards related to the fire service. Our conduct will reflect our commitment to safety, honesty, personal responsibility, fairness, respectfulness, and integrity. We recognize that the most effective way to protect lives and property is to prevent fires from occurring through fire prevention and education. Section 2, Principal Office. The principal office of the LVFD shall be 7173 Lookingglass Road, Roseburg, Oregon 97471. Article 12, Section 1, Membership. Any person 18 years of age or older and meeting the following criteria shall be eligible to apply for the position of volunteer firefighter for the LVFD. 1, be a high school graduate or equivalent. 2, reside in or be regularly employed in the immediate area of the LRFD. 3, submit a completed LVFD firefighter application. 4, possess and maintain a valid Oregon driver's license, provide a copy of both the front and back of the license upon submitting an application to join. An Oregon DMV printout may be required at the applicant's expense. A commercial license Class B may be required for certain positions. 5, agree to and submit to a criminal background check. Applicant must pass an Oregon Department of Public Safety Standards and Training DPSST background check at completion of FF1 testing ORS 181.878. Applicant must have no felony convictions. 6, ability to learn and then demonstrate gained knowledge through oral, written, and performance testing. 7, be physically capable of successfully completing Oregon DPSST Firefighter 1 training safely, meet vision requirements of Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles, and be able to hear spoken words in warnings. The fire department does not discriminate on the basis of race, creed, sex, age, or national origin for employment, provision of service, awarding of contracts, or any other public contact. Persons approved to join the department shall serve a probation period of 1 year and successfully complete the Oregon DPSST Firefighter 1 course. This probationary period may be waived for applicants who currently are a Firefighter 1 and meet all other qualifications. Such waiver shall be at the discretion of the fire chief. Article 13, Section 1, Meetings. A, regular meetings. The Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department shall have a minimum of 1 2-hour training meeting per week. The day and time of the meetings or drills shall be decided by the fire chief or the fire department with input from the members. Meetings are not required during the weeks of nationally recognized holidays. Training meetings will consist of classroom presentations and/or manipulated drills designed to cover all aspects of firefighting, emergency medical care, and other required skills. B, safety special meetings. A minimum of 1 meeting per month will be specifically dedicated to a safety topic. The fire chief or assistant fire chief training may schedule special training meetings as needed. Such meetings may be held in lieu of or in addition to the required weekly meetings. C, driver training meetings. Driver training may be scheduled outside of regular training meetings if an approved driving instructor is present and a chief officer has been advised. Section 2, attendance. Members are expected to attend 2/3 of the scheduled monthly meetings. The chief may suspend any member who falls behind in the required maintenance hours of their position, FF1, first responder, EMT, driver operator, until they have met state mandated requirements. 1, excused absences, i.e. work, family, illness, injury may be considered prior to any suspension due to poor attendance. 2, unexcused absences may result in disciplinary action. Article 14. Section 1, Organization. A, Fire Officers. 1, Fire Chief. The District Board shall appoint a Fire Chief to direct the operations of the Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department. The Fire Chief shall serve a term of office as mutually agreed upon with the Board of Directors. The length of service shall be reviewed annually at a minimum and shall be dependent upon his or her good conduct, performance, and efficiency. 2, Assistant Chief. The LVFD shall have an Assistant Chief training appointed by the Fire Chief and approved by the Board. 3, Fire Marshal. A fire marshal may be appointed by the chief, and the fire chief may assume all duties of the fire marshal position. If it is not filled, see duties of the fire chief. 4. Captain. The LRFD shall have a captain, safety officer appointed by the chief of the department. 5. Other officers. The fire chief may appoint other officers as deemed necessary for fulfill the mission statement of the LVFD. Examples may include fire prevention education officer, EMS officer, vehicle maintenance operations officer, and inventory officer. The personnel assigned to these positions will serve as mutually agreed upon with the chief officers of the LVFD. These positions may be assigned as temporary and task-specific or as long-term to support functional operations of the LVFD. Section 2. Duties of the department. A. Fire chief. The fire chief shall be the head of the Lookingglass Volunteer Fire Department, subject to the laws of the state of Oregon and the bylaws adopted herein. He/she shall be responsible for directing, organizing, and managing all firefighting, EMS, and support services of the LVFD. Duties to support these services include, but are not limited to, 1. Providing for the safety of LVFD personnel. 2. Properly maintaining district-owned facilities and equipment. 3. Providing the best possible firefighting, EMS, and fire prevention services to the community. 4. Acting as a technical consultant to the board for matters concerning fire and EMS techniques, equipment, personnel, training, and requirements. 5. Working with the board treasurer for the preparation and presentation of an annual budget to the Budget Committee, see Article 5, Section 2D. 6. Present incident billing to the board treasurer for collection. 7. Creating and maintaining written standard operating procedures in conjunction with the board secretary to manage fire department operations, see Article 5, Section 2C. 8. Writing job descriptions for department officers, including assistant chief training, captain safety, and other positions as appointed. A review of the job description and personnel performance will be conducted annually at a minimum. 9. Filing personnel positions within the department through recruitment, evaluation, and appointment. 10. Managing the training and development of department personnel. 11. Completing records and reports relating to department operations and equipment as required by state statutes and board needs. 12. Making an annual report to the board in January of each calendar year. The report shall contain an informational summary of LVFD operations, including incidents, inspections, equipment, accomplishments, needs, and comparative statistics from previous years. The report shall also include recommendations on improving the effectiveness of the fire department. 13. Submitting a quarterly chief's report to the website to keep the community apprised of possible events, educational seminars, seasonal warnings, etc. 14. Assist in writing a yearly informational newsletter in conjunction with the board to be sent to the LRFD voting populace. 15. Coordinate with local and state fire prevention, fire investigation, and code enforcement agencies to ensure fire marshal services are provided in the district as needed. B. Members. Each member shall be familiar with all provisions of these bylaws, the standard operating procedures, and the department organization chart. 1. Incident meeting attendance. A written record of attendance will be completed for each incident and meeting. Any firefighter who does not respond to a minimum of 1/3 of LVFD alarms may be suspended from the department by the fire chief. The chief shall take issues such as work schedules, illnesses, and family issues into account before any disciplinary action is taken. 2. Response. Upon receiving notification for an alarm, each firefighter shall respond to the fire station in a safe and lawful manner or directly to the scene as authorized by the fire chief. Firefighters shall remain with their crew on scene or at the fire station until excused by their officer in charge or it is known that their help is no longer needed. Upon returning to the fire station, all members shall assist in the readying of apparatus, the cleaning of equipment, and the returning of personal protective equipment, PPE, to a state of readiness. If a firefighter needs to be excused from the scene of an incident during cleanup after an incident due to a personal hardship, an officer may release them on request. 3. Use of intoxicants, controlled substances, and firearms. No member of this department shall attend any meeting or emergency response while under the influence of intoxicants or controlled substances. Members found to be under the influence of said substances shall be immediately suspended from the fire department pending a hearing for dismissal with the district's review board. If a member responds to an incident, attends a meeting, or participates in training while in lawful possession of a firearm, that firearm must be placed in a secure location. Article 15, Section 1, Review Board. A. Function. The review board shall be created to handle any disciplinary action deemed necessary by the fire chief. B. Members. 1. The review board shall consist of the fire chief, the board president, and at least 3 other fire department members, wherein an odd number is always present. 2. The review board shall elect from among themselves a chairman and secretary. A. Chairman. The review board chairman shall preside over the review board hearing. B. Secretary. The review board secretary shall keep accurate minutes of all hearings and other business of the review board. Upon completion of the review board process, all minutes shall be given to the board of directors of the LRFD. C, meetings. The review board chairman shall establish the time and place of the hearing to be made as convenient as possible for the defendant, witnesses, and members of the review board. A defendant shall have a minimum of 7 days' notice of any hearings of the review board on the case. A defendant shall be allowed entrance to all portions of all review board hearings. The review board chairman shall conduct all review board hearings. Should an accused person fail to appear at the scheduled hearing, the review board shall hear testimony from those persons present and make their decision from the evidence as presented. Hearings are closed to the public. D, vote. The decision shall be based on the majority vote of the members of the review board. E, term of board. The term of the review board shall be of sufficient length to conduct hearings and other business pertaining to alleged offenses of the defendant. The term of the review board shall expire at the completion of all business associated with the review process. F, procedures. 1, possible decisions. A, find complaint not substantiated. B, issue warning. I, verbal. I, written. C, suspension from the department for 15, 30, 60, or 90 days. D, expulsion from the fire department. These bylaws supersede all previous bylaws, rules, regulations, resolutions, or policies of the Lookingglass Rural Fire District. End of document.
You did that well. Holy cow, man.
Next time, could you do it at 45 instead of 78?
I think I almost had them memorized, Dennis.
I think we have to just about memorize. Well, I'd like to make a motion that we accept these.
I second it.
Any discussion? Audience? Before we vote, I would like to just say that we couldn't have done this without the folks that have attended. The input was wonderful, and it made the job easier, even though this was a very interesting task. I really want to thank the people that have been showing up and everybody sitting at this table for what we did on this. So if there's no further discussion or comment, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Done deal. We've got bylaws and rules and regulations for both the district and the fire department. Cool. And the other side to that coin, I should also I'd like to make a statement about is that Steve put these fire department rules and regs together pretty much on his own with the help of his people, and did a heck of a good job. That was a big help to us. You know, when he divided this thing just about in half, and that's how it was operating, that's how it was working, and that was great. Yeah. Okay, that's item A gone. Item B, we're still looking for a volunteer to fill the Director 2 position. So if anybody knows anybody, send them our way. Newsletter review, and this is what we have here. We've got a draft for everybody to take a look at here. You guys can pass these out. This is the newsletter we've been discussing now for, I think 3-4 weeks. This will go out to every taxpayer. It's just a informational letter. Everything in it is just bringing people kind of up to date on where we are, where we hope to be going. One of the suggestions that was made, and we didn't really make a decision on it, I think we should before we send this out, is whether we want to do the return survey to see what people are thinking from this, or do we just want to send this out and kind of let it go?
I think at this time we should just send it out.
Any other?
I agree with this.
Okay. So all we need to do is approve. If we like the way this thing looks, we can send it out. Yes, sir?
Question, will it have a letterhead at the top?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is just the informational draft of it, just so we can see the content. This is about the third or something generation. Mm-hmm. So we're here to either add or subtract or modify at this meeting. So if anybody has any comments, we'll give everybody a moment to read that.
I
think you have more than 13 firefighters.
That was the number we were given.
Yeah, we're at around 16 now.
So change that to 16. So there's 17 including you as far as the
I'm
department.
one of the 16.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So you implied that the board has been working on this to come up with this? Or,
The board is who came up with that, yes.
and so was this done at a public meeting, or where was the medium where you guys did this?
This is the first draft that's been done,
Okay,
and it's being presented to the public for your perusal now.
but have you had a work group to work on to this point?
No, not really. We talked to each other and just put together ideas. This is just basically a culmination of lists that we came up with. That's why it's just a factual letter.
The mutual aid analysis, unless Steve's changed it, there's a lot more into that than what it shows here. It's throughout,
Yeah,
complete, we used to have, I'm sure we still do, mutual aid agreement with the entire county,
Uh-huh.
not just those specific.
Forestry and also automatically with those two.
Yeah, we just didn't have all of those. That's one reason why we have the mutual aid analysis is still to be done on our items A through P during the weekly meetings. We haven't gotten that yet. So we can add to those, Steve, if you'd like to tell us what they are, or we can just take that sentence off and just say mutual aid analysis.
Yeah, mutual and automatic aid analysis would just be fine.
Okay, so we'll just take this
We'll
away.
have the list of who are
Yeah,
with.
'cause we just haven't gotten to that yet, so. Okay? For some of you that haven't been here before, we have an item list of A through P, and we've completed A through I. We're working on J, K, and L right now in the weekly meetings, and we'll begin M, N, O, and P in the very near future. We're trying to get that thing done by the end of September. So that's where we are. And one of those items that is yet to be done is the information on the mutual aid. Any other comments or questions or revisions that we need to do? Just look like, yes, sir?
I would just say instead of a new website, an updated website, because it's the same website.
Please visit the updated, sure, that's a good idea.
It's very updated.
From our webmaster who we already complimented in the last meeting, we're going to make it official amongst the new people. Jerry has been doing a fabulous job putting this website together. Tonight was the first time, or this afternoon I should say, was the first time that I've actually gone through and looked at every single page. And yeah, great job, but it's really good.
And if I could just make a comment, I'd like to express my appreciation to people like Tom and Bruce and Risa and Bob, people who have looked at the website to give me feedback on any corrections that are needed if something's not working right. That's what I really need. So if any of you see any problems with it, you can reach me through the email address on the if it's the contact page of the website, the link for the web manager. So please, if you're experiencing any problems with the website, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks again, Jerry.
I like
Yes.
the yellow.
Under, we welcome you all to come to the board meetings. You should give the date and time. You know, it's the,
Second Wednesday of the month.
you know, at 7 o'clock. You know, give it on the last
Okay.
line. Put the date and time there, so they know.
Anything else? Shall we have a motion to send this out in final form? Yes, again?
Sorry. It's a pet peeve of mine on that same page, the second page, sentence number 2. You're ending with a preposition, don't do that. So, Reese will appreciate that.
You're talking about sentence 2 where it ends in "we exist for"?
Throw me out the window, my hat.
Okay. Give us a quick rewording.
Oh.
I know, you're good at this.
For which
Just
we
leave that.
exist.
Leave
just change it to
that
for which
we
we
exist
exist
for
for.
off.
Okay, equipment to do the job for which?
Period behind job.
I just put a period behind job. I'm with
Oh.
Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, that works easier.
Yeah, see,
All right, that works. I like that. We'll
short.
just put a period right there. Okay. Thanks again. Keep reading, Beth. You might find something out. That way we don't have to go through
Just
the
let us
spelling
know.
grammar check thing again.
Just let us know.
Any other comments? No. We're still looking for a motion to send this.
I'll make a motion.
George?
Send this down.
George makes a motion to send this out with the changes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Good, done deal. Risa, you got the Nooner Davidson letter?
I've sealed it up.
Oh, you sealed up, you got a copy that you can read, because there are people here that weren't at the last meeting. I don't think I have a spare copy of that.
No.
Mike? Hang on a second.
It's pretty explicit.
I had a copy, no, I don't guess I don't.
Maybe put a stamp on it there.
No, I can just, there's no stamp. I'll read it.
Wow. Keep opening the water.
There's no stamp, so.
Oh, okay.
Get to read again. Okay, Nooner Davidson Cooley LLC. Mr. Davidson, it has come to our attention that the Lookingglass Rural Fire District has paid Nooner Davidson and Cooley LLC in excess of $34,000 over the past 8 years for miscellaneous audits and annual reviews. We have been unable to find a reasonable explanation nor a legal requirement for these charges. We need an immediate written explanation of these charges dealing from the 2005-2006 fiscal year to the present. Sincerely, Lookingglass Rural Fire District Board of Directors.
This is a situation that we're in need of information on. That amount of money works out to be about $4,000 a year, and the state laws don't abide with that. So there's an interesting question with that. So we're just having Tom tell us exactly. And actually, Tom's the one that disclosed it, in all reality, at the meeting. So
Should probably make a copy of that with your signature.
We can.
that's a good point, yes. Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah, before I seal it up again. Oh, there's lots of tape on it.
Any questions or comments on that from anybody? No. Treasurer bonding, I've looked into that with the insurance companies, and I've got like 5 different forms that we have to go through. So we just need to talk about that at the next meeting. I'll try and straighten it out and make it a little bit more understandable. I've got 2 calls into the guy right now. You want to hit on the driveway inspection report one more time?
Yeah, we located a bunch of the codes and kind of requirements, and the county is able to make their own requirements too on with the roads and all that kind of stuff. And the whole idea of the inspection is just to get out and actually visit the areas in this district that we may or may not be able to reach. So my intention is to using the 1080 or one of our utility vehicles to just go out and start on Thursday night, drill night, send 1 or 2 people out to visit with all these residents way out there in the sticks, and let them know what we're doing, and start. We're just going to start randomly. We have some suggestions to start with, and then we'll just start going randomly through the book. We found one the other day. It ends up it's outside our district, but still we get dispatched to it anyway. And we would go for cost recovery if there was a dwelling on that. place we were. In fact, we probably still would look fire.
The Beckers are up there, aren't they, at the other end?
Yeah, they're at the very far end.
Yeah.
They are in our district. There's 2 houses on that road that aren't in our district.
They're not in our district. Oh, gotcha. Cool. Want to touch on the equipment analysis again, your transcription job?
Okay, we made an informational report to the board a couple weeks ago just about the equipment that we have and why. And I'm going to write a report stating that. Basically, we're basing it on ISO requirements. DPSST has a requirement for the type of engine we have to have. Anyway, I'm just going to list those all out and let you know why we have them from.
And just remember, all we're looking for is purpose and capability,
Right.
not necessarily any of that. Make it easy on yourself.
Well, yeah, it's already done. Just
Yeah.
write it for you.
Want to restate your asset inventory process that we're going to?
We're gonna be doing that, what, the end of the month?
Yeah, when you're available, come down
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to try
And we're gonna do that on a Thursday, is that correct?
here.
Okay.
and we're going to try and have the vehicle inventory complete by the 25th.
I found the vehicle inventory, we had a file, and then we've always had them. We updated them about 6 months or a year ago, and I found them on the computer, so we have them on a word processor now. So we'll just update all those, and then 1070 doesn't have one, so we'll complete that by the end of March, before George comes down.
Good.
So we'll have all vehicles covered.
That work for you, George?
Mm-hmm. No problem.
We have a cleanup day scheduled for Saturday. We're all going to meet here at 9 o'clock and pressure wash the building. And then have some hot dogs and kind of just a casual, everybody won't be hungry moment. Bruce has volunteered to coordinate that for us. He's our cook and head dog washer.
I know it's good.
I couldn't help myself. Now we've got a lift for this thing. It's going to be delivered at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ought to be able to get that done pretty quickly. So let's try and have hot dogs around 1. That seemed like a reasonable schedule for everybody. Lisa, you have a question?
Yeah, I keep watching Noah. And,
No, is it going to be ugly on Saturday?
There's supposed to be
It's-
some showers coming.
yeah, I'm not sure.
We're
So,
gonna be wet
is there
anyway.
is there a tentative thing that if we get the thunder and lightning and pouring rain, that it's kind of off?
That shouldn't affect pressure washing anyway.
We're wet.
No,
We're
no.
wet anyway.
We're gonna be wet
As long
anyway.
as we don't
It's
get
just-
electrocuted.
Okay.
No, again.
I don't think the storms will be coming in.
It's, no, it's
They
tricky.
should be all right.
It's maybe
Yeah.
Sunday.
We need the rain.
We do, yes, but just not yet.
Everybody.
Well, when is the paint thing then?
We're gonna have to coordinate that with, I'll have to talk to a couple other people. We have the paint, we purchased it, it's out in the garage. And that's gonna be relying on the weather also. So
Okay.
Have a warm stretch.
I don't think, that's not gonna be won't need a large personnel commitment, because we probably only have 1 or 2 sprayers at the most.
Okay.
And we should have a lift for that.
Right.
Yeah. Chief's report.
I gave Risa and Jerry a copy for the website. We had 20 calls in the month of August. In the past, Risa, I've done it the month right up to the day of our meeting. I'm changing it back from the 1st to the 31st or 30th so that Jerry can put it on the website.
That's fine.
We had 20 calls. We had another fire down at LRFD we were down there. It was pretty nasty. And I was real proud. One of our firefighters, one of the interesting things of being a firefighter one is wearing the SCBA. The mask encloses your face, and people with claustrophobia have a hard time with that, especially when you're breathing off the mask. And this firefighter was one that had problems with it when we initially started. And he or she was in the mask for about 2.5 hours and did a really nice job. So.
Oh, great.
Didn't have any problems. We had something that we talked about before about the tablets and all that. We had a medical aid up the loop away with a person that possessed a knife. And all those kind of warnings come over a pager from dispatch, and also now they're dispatching us by phone. So we get a text message giving us all those warnings also. Just to let you guys know that.
Okay.
Let's see, anything else? A lot of natural cover fires in all areas but ours. I'm really happy that, other than we've already had one this week, but that we've made it through this summer relatively unscathed, especially with the low humidity and stuff like that. One thing about that is DFPA has sent out a notice that they're going to conduct control burns whenever the humidity's right. Last week they burned in Happy Valley, and I got like 5 phone calls immediately. Hey, can we burn? Why are they burning? It's hazardous out there. Well, it was totally reliant on that. We had 1 or 2 days there where it was kind of sprinkled, and the humidity came up. They did it that day, and then that's been it since the humidity changed. So just to let you guys know, DFPA will do prescription control burns on ranches around here with the proper clearances and the proper humidity and all that kind of stuff, even though we may not be allowed to burn or use chainsaws out in the wild. And there's a current posting on the window out there what the regulations are again. Tom Johnson attended the what do you call that? Assistance to Firefighters Grant for FEMA last night in my absence because I was unable to attend. And so we're gonna go for some more stuff. That's the grant that we got the engine from our former chief put in for a few years back. It doesn't look so good for big vehicles and stuff, but we're going to put in for them anyway, and other equipment. I just got the material tonight for me to review, and we'll go over that more in the future.
Okay.
We've applied for that grant almost every year, and it's the same with our volunteer grant we got this year. It seems like you keep applying, eventually your turn comes around, and then you get some. Then next year they're going to say, how much did we give you last year? Okay, and then this isn't your turn this year. So maybe it's coming back around to our turn again. It's been 7 years, maybe 8
Part
years.
of the problem is the cost of equipment has gone up so much that they're buying less. So 2 years ago, there were 7,000 communities that wanted engines, and there were 400 that got it. Last year, there were 4,000 that wanted them, and there were 100 that got it. But it's the price of the equipment has almost doubled over the last 5 years.
Last thing, October 8th, 9th, and 10th, we got on the board there that the annual Fire Prevention Week is back on at Home Depot. So most Douglas County elementary schools will be going to that. And it's a Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 2. If anybody has a chance to go into it, it's a real interesting show. They bring in all kinds of equipment. We'll probably participate. I got some people that are off during that week, so I might put an engine on it.
What hours are people going to be there for that?
9 to 2.
9 to 2?
Yeah. And then we also are scheduling our school program will be at right around that same time. Fire Prevention Week's usually in October. And we'll be using the station this year with some various activities for different age kids. And part of that was also that we had a class here last week for the teachers of the school for fire extinguisher training, and that came off really well. I think that's about all I got for tonight.
Great. What about the bills for the grant stuff?
We got the bill. He's got the bills for tonight. We have about $2,000 this month. The bids for all the grants have come in from various vendors and all that stuff, and I didn't have a chance last week. I'm going to get together with our people tomorrow night, and we're just going to start picking equipment. As long as it's comparable, we're going with the less cost. I can tell you that we had some sales and stuff during the summer here, especially with wildland equipment, and we were originally approved for about $18,000, so we would have matched $9,000. We've got the actual expenses now, just from shopping again, are down around $16,000 or $17,000. So that money will go back to the state or the ODF, but it also will be matching less, but we'll be getting the same equipment just because the vendors are coming in lower than our first bids. So.
Can't beat that.
No, it's
Good job.
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer's report, Ken?
We are
simplifying our bank accounts a little bit. Basically converting or combining the general fund with the checking account, just so it's all in one place, easier to track. Nothing particularly other than that going on. From my side, we have a bunch of bills to approve tonight. Shall I start on those, Bob?
Can you give the balances on those three? You got them handy? Well, we know the one's $1. That's an easy one.
Actually, the general, the regular shares account is at $2.
Oh, excuse me.
I actually made a mistake when I transferred everything. The equipment fund, $24,177.08. General fund and checking account. That balance is old. It's around 12,000 right now.
Okay.
I don't have the exact balance in front of me. Probably about 12.
Okay. What bills do we have to pay? Just go over those pretty quick.
Okay. There's some shirts from Public Safety Center, $710.94. Fire hose with shipping, $1,750, also from the Public Safety Center. Steve, jump in anytime.
Those are two that will be reimbursed half by grant.
Yeah.
We got a really good deal on the hose, I gotta tell you. They're all yellow, the colors are a little bit off, so they're calling them seconds, but we only got 11 links of it, but they sold over 100,000 feet of it to firefighters, volunteer firefighters and stuff, just because it was a deal. It's all pressure tested and everything the same.
Cool.
A pair of gloves for one of the firefighters, $35 is another amount.
I want to explain that there's one firefighter wanted a specific set of gloves. Our gloves usually run $35 or so. The gloves he wanted, he had used them when he worked for Winston for $60. So he's written a check back to the district to cover the difference. They're all approved by MP and everything.
Training invoice for Carl Bolden for $100. Recharging fire extinguishers, this is Umpqua Valley Fire Services, $93. Rick's Medical, we filled an O2 account, or O2 tank, and he had to test the outdated tank. That's $44.50. Paper for the office, Staples, $21.98. Do we need to reimburse you, or did that come out of petty cash?
Well, either way.
We need to reimburse Teresa for that. Batteries, 6804, and that's from Batteries Plus. Some more office supplies, 1248, 2758.
These are all reimbursable.
A couple of those are on the chief's debit card.
Those are all office supplies. I'm trying to remember what they
The
were.
surge protector is one of them.
Oh, the surge
isn't it?
protectors,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought some office supplies that we didn't have, pens, pencils, highlighters. It's, in fact, it's stashed up there on the file cabinet if you guys ever need those kind of things.
So this action are reimbursables, we're just refunding the debit account.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
2 invoices from the news review for our notices that we do.
Those are for the regular business meetings.
And is this a final bill from Oregon Linen?
Yes, it is. It's done.
Final bill, 3609.
My intent, I have a catalog for those kind of carpets. Also, Costco has them for less price than that. So one way or the other, we're going to do it that way.
Good.
Utilities, we have a water bill for $96.20 for Umpqua Basin. ComSpan, $60.16. Our Douglas electric bill, $109.80. $0.85. And that's the total of the bills that I have.
Can I get a motion to approve paying the bills?
I move we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Anybody? Questions? Nothing? All those in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Somebody didn't like it.
Restaurants.
Days are on overload. Let's jump into something I noticed that I neglected to put in our list here. We need to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do you folks want me to read these? Yes? No? No comment? No nods?
Will they be on the website?
They are on the web. They will be on the website if we approve them tonight, yes. We've gotten that corrected from the last time, I'm pretty sure.
So, well, my question would be, and I can wait until it is ordered.
No, yes, you can ask right now.
There's only 2 sets of minutes on the website last time I looked, which was 2 days ago, for 2013. There's a lot of agendas, but there are no minutes.
Must not have liked my explanation the last time. The way that we've done the weekly meetings is the agenda has the approval items on it, and then we have a video of every one of the meetings.
So where's the video?
The videos are available for anybody to come and view. You want to see it, come down here, we'll set it up and you can look at it. We're trying to make it go onto YouTube. Jerry, you want to address that?
I'd like to address the point about some of the minutes. Tom is correct that there are some missing minutes from the last time the previous webmaster updated the website back in September or October until the time that I took over and got the first recent minutes that I believe were from the July meeting. I do not have copies of any of the minutes in between that time, so you're correct, Tom. So there are missing minutes.
So we could start a search and see if we can find them. That was before our time. We started July 10th.
Well, the skipper of the ship, George can help you, is responsible for his ship, regardless of when it happened. So there's minutes that are missing.
You just got promoted to skipper. I think I'm the skipper of the ship that the president's in charge.
My point is I went back to try and find minutes to help you guys when you're talking about why do we have a certain balance in our shares account. And that was covered in the previous meeting, but the minutes are not there.
No, I understand, Tom. We're just saying we have yet to locate all of that stuff on the computer. We've got everything from the July 10th meeting forward. That's what Jerry was just saying. From July 10th backward, we're still searching for stuff on that computer. So that's...
There was 5 notebooks in there with the monthly meetings, and they were put in those books every month.
Oh, well, we may have, we're talking about something that we can transfer on.
Yeah. It was that on the desk in here.
We were looking for something that we can immediately put onto the website, not have to have sit down and rewrite them all.
No reason you shouldn't have to rewrite them. They're finalized minutes, they're approved minutes.
Tom wants to go onto the website and see those minutes. And in order to do that, we have to take them off of a computer and transfer them over to a website. If they're just hard copies, someone would have to transcribe those onto a computer and then do it. And that's just not part of it. Or scan them.
Yeah, if you're able to locate a hard copy, they can be scanned into a PDF file that I could then put on the website.
It would still be easier if we could find them on the computer.
If it's electronic, it would be a cleaner copy.
What's the dates again?
Prior to July 10th.
I just
for
checked
this year.
in the file cabinet, and there's a copy of the minutes in each one of the file folders, so.
Steve showed us that
yeah,
before.
that's fine. If you want to get a copy, we can make one for you.
When Steve showed it to you, you just sat there and said you didn't know where they were.
On the computer, Gary. On the computer.
They're in the file cabinet. Reason just told you.
That's not on the computer.
You don't need them on the computer.
It would be easier.
Oh,
with the time that we have, it would be easier, much easier than having to take the time to scan them and then put them on the computer.
I'll get you, we'll just start in getting copies of them.
Anything else, Tom, on that? we vote to approve this minute? Got time tangled up in this conversation.
yet.
We
Have
haven't
a-
yet.
have a motion to approve the minutes as read.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes
Second.
from.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item,
Can I ask some, I must have missed the discussion on that, but I wanted to say that the minutes that we got for last meeting were pretty darn good. The, going back to the ORSs and stuff, there's certain things that are supposed to be in them, and I know that we haven't had a secretary, but, I mean, we have to have the names of who's here, who votes on what, you know, and everything else, so. And we have that in our big policy manual, so.
I didn't bring
This
it
looked like
tonight.
real minutes. Yeah.
I'll bring it next time.
And I think that's what Tom's referring to as, they don't look like minutes, they look like agendas.
Yeah.
They don't look like minutes.
We're getting the headline says agenda.
Yeah.
no, the headline only says agenda for the weekly meetings. And now it
And we're in
says
the minutes for those.
agenda/meeting minutes after Tom's conversation at our last meeting.
And where can we find the minutes for those weekly meetings?
Well, we usually hand them out at the meetings or else they're on the website, because Jerry puts them up every week.
But those look like agendas.
That's an agenda, that's
Yeah,
not
they
the
look like
minutes.
agendas.
There's a roll call on there, no names of who attended those meetings.
Well, the ones that we approve afterwards is, so.
So what?
And everything's on video, which is now a legal minute. So we don't even have to keep written minutes if we choose not to. We can have them as videos. So we have both.
Yeah, okay.
Just at one point, though, we approved that we were going to have written transcriptions of all
Yes.
those, right?
That's
We do.
right. We will.
And we hand those out, so.
All right.
If I may, we're trying to get this thing to go forward. We're just trying to make everything that needs to happen, happen. And we're one person short here. And that one person short happens to be a secretarial position. We're trying to share that. We're trying to play catch up. We're doing the best that we can do. And so far, we're accomplishing quite a bit. And we've got some good people doing it. This minutes issue, we're not arguing with you. You're both exactly correct. Steve's exactly correct. And we're playing catch up with that one item. But that's only one item that we're playing catch up with. And we'll get there. It's going to take a little bit of time. These weekly meetings have got to be done with, and we have to get over all of these items that we need to complete so that we have a good foundation to go forward with. And that foundation is going to be complemented by the type of minutes you're looking for, Tom, and we'll get there.
Well, my only point, and I'm not trying to be a butt about this, but lack of minutes or poor minutes is what will send you all to jail, because
We have everything videotaped, Tom.
but it's not available to the public.
It is available to the public. We're working on getting it onto YouTube. We have copies. Anybody can come and look at
Do
it.
you want to put your bank account information on YouTube?
You might really
Yeah.
think about that.
Well,
Put some serious thought into that YouTube. That thing's a joke. If you want to make a joke out of this fire district, that's what's going to happen. That bank statement and stuff that Ken reads here every night doesn't belong on YouTube. Come on.
It's public information.
I realize that, Risa.
Well, then, it's public information, pure and simple.
Remember what you just said.
That it's public information, and it is. Do you
anything
want
else,
us to
Gary?
not read that in front of this audience, Gary?
That's not what I said. I
Well-
said, think about putting it on YouTube. That's all
We
I
have.
said.
We have.
Okay, that's fine.
Anything else, Gary?
I can wait.
Let's see, where are we here? New business. Lisa, you want to talk about the swapping out the meter?
Yep. I talked to Umpqua Basin on Monday, and we have several options with that. We can sell the 1.5 meter, we can trade it, or we can just simply go to 3/4 inch and not do anything with the 1.5 inch. If we go to the 3/4, we're only charged for materials and labor to put it, put it down to a 3/4 inch. And their suggestion was, go ahead and put it on Craigslist or put an ad in the paper or see who's out there that might want to pay you for it, because the inch and a half is worth $13,000 now.
Can you just reiterate what we discussed a few meetings back as to why this is being looked into?
Yes, because the monthly charge that we get now, whether we use it or not, is the $96, and was it 20 cents, 50 cents, something like that? Whereas a 3/4 inch meter, which we only use a minimum water here, and that is $18 a month. And so it's a savings of $78 every month.
That impacts our propane training because we rely on that dang meter to give us the backup water we need to run the iterations that we do when we're doing the propane.
Instead of the hydrant?
We talked about that since we talked about that before.
Right.
And my intention is to fill the tenders and everything else off the hydrant down there. There's two instances that we have used it recently. One was that LPG training just to keep that tender up so we didn't have to go back and forth. And secondly, the other night about 3 in the morning, we had to flush the wildland unit out because we used Class A foam up on that fire. So there are instances where we need it. I'm just, your projection that our bill's going to be $18 a month instead of $100, is that right, or 96?
Instead of $96.50, yeah.
Is
Yeah, that's exactly
Is
what
there a
it
minimum
is.
usage on that?
What?
Is there a minimum gallons usage on that 3/4 meter?
And we've never gone over, that's what I'm saying. We just
Yeah.
get the
What will it
minimum.
be when it's 3/4 though? It'll change from 16,000 gallons to whatever, I'm sure it would, 2,500, and then you'll be going over. Of
course,
you're not gonna fill it in.
No, I've been looking at the usage, and it really
It
isn't going to be an issue.
Yeah, Bruce?
So my question is, off of that 3/4 inch meter, do you have, what is it, inch and a quarter meter, inch and a half?
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half, do you have an inch and a half outlet off of that meter?
Now,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
that's what it is, yes. They do a reduction, is what they would do.
So it has but do you have any, where to get water out of that is an inch and a half in diameter?
Right now? you
Yeah,
don't-
or do you just have hose bibs off of it?
We have an inch and a half.
No, there's a
Yeah,
standpipe.
we have a standpipe,
on the
right.
wash rack.
I need to ask you, did Lyle contact you from Umpqua Basin? Okay, well then she asked me to tell you, this was funny, when you guys did the training with 10 Mile, because there seems to be a ruling with Umpqua Basin that you're probably not aware of, that when you go to do something like that, you notify them like a couple days in advance, because otherwise Lyle says the phone starts ringing, and they're going, people down the line are saying, we don't have any water pressure. At which point, they send a guy out to see if there's a break in the lines, and then they see all the big hoses going off here, putting out training fires.
That's true. Every
And then they
time
go back.
we fill a pump around the hydrant or something. I live up the hill down there on the end of Lookingglass, and maybe 200 feet above the hillside. And my wife knows on Thursday night she doesn't take a shower at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Because when we fill the hydrants, she doesn't have water.
right. So all I'm asking is that they wanted to be notified if you know, like, especially with the training, if you're gonna be doing something, if you tell them in advance, then they can, when the phone rings, the guy is gonna just tell them, nope, it's the Lookingglass Fire District doing their thing, and then he doesn't have to come out.
I'll call him, I'll just make a blanket. We meet on Thursday nights at 8, so he should, hopefully that'll be good enough.
It probably will. They just wanted to be a
You
little.
think that they already figured that out?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is just going to be a value deal. We're just discussing this. We haven't got any decisions yet. We're not proposing any decisions tonight. Yes, Gary?
I have a dumb question, but Gary, on the agreement, do we actually own this building and all, or does the county still?
Oh, no, it's the fire district owns it.
It totally owns it?
Yeah, they
So-
turned the deed, should
Okay.
be in the safe deposit box for it.
I heard that they might, county might still have something, but they
No.
don't. Okay,
Absolutely nothing.
thank you.
I
So
was
we
there-
could change the
I was
meter.
there the day they signed the papers. Yeah, you can change it if they choose to.
Okay, so we wouldn't get in trouble changing the meter with the county or anything. That's our deal. Okay, but we don't know how much we're gonna save, because we're not paying any more than the minimum now,
Right.
but that could change. We might
Well,
need,
I went over the figures with them, and we don't use a lot of the water from that meter. That's,
Yeah,
you know,
but with a 3/4 far enough over minimum, and I just think that it's there. It might be our advantage to keep it, but
well, that's what we're looking into. I
Right.
think that's the whole deal.
Well, I think we need to look into what Gary's asking, is
Sure.
how will it change when the
Yeah.
3/4, what is our, we basically know what our usage is now.
Right.
Does that gallon put us into a higher bracket or an excess amount of water usage?
Not that Lyle could show me, that's what I'm saying, but I can look and see if there's spikes in previous years. I can go talk to her about that.
wouldn't cost much to change it now, but if you ever wanted to change it back to 1.5 inches, then you'd be talking some
Exactly.
cost.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's why
yes.
we didn't do it years ago when we
Right.
talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
Well, all we're doing is we're researching, as the audience keeps asking us for, is ways to save money. And that's just an obvious one, whether, everything would be a value judgment. Nothing's gonna be, we're gonna do this just because we're saving money. It's gonna be a value judgment. Just like when we choose to spend money, it's gonna be a value judgment. And people in this audience are gonna help make those decisions with us. So this is just the first round of talking about this particular thing. It's just information that we didn't have before. So any other comments on that issue with the meter? No. Equipment expenditures versus operations expenditures. Risa, you want to touch on that too?
Yes, because that's something that we're gonna have to decide and vote on about in the future. Make a definitive line, if you would, as to what are expenses of equipment and what are expenses for the operations of the district. And to me, it's like anything on a fire rig or on a firefighter is equipment. Everything else runs the district. Now, we can define it further or get specific or make a list or however you want to do that. But that's basically, you know, where I'm going.
So shall we make this a topic at the next meeting and just do some research between now and then?
Sure.
Because we've also got the issue of the fiduciary statement.
Exactly. Because
Anybody out
I
there?
just started making that
Well, I'm
list.
not exactly sure what you're trying to say.
I think what Risa's, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I just want to know what.
I think what Risa's getting at, and then the question that's being raised is, if we purchase equipment, that purchase of equipment, whether it be equipment this big or equipment this big, should come out of the equipment fund, as opposed to the general operations of this district fund. And we're just trying to determine, where do you draw that line? That line needs to be somehow established, and where is that line at?
Okay.
It's kind of nebulous right now.
So we're going to talk about capital equipment, you mean like bigger equipment, all that stuff? Or?
Any kind of equipment.
Any and all.
Any
It's like,
kind.
it's
Okay,
like,
well,
it's like
Yeah.
Pulaski's, okay? They're equipment, they go on the truck, you use them to fight fires and whatever you do. And to me, that's equipment and is paid for by equipment fund. Operations is our insurance, the water bill, the electric bill, you know, it used to be Oregon Linen, now it's not anymore. Whether or not we're buying office supplies, the phone bill, all of that is the operations of this district. And that's what I want to have a definitive section.
And in all honesty, Stuart started that. Stuart Kramer started that.
Yeah.
And he started putting that as a definitive line, and we just need to have that so that we can answer those questions when the questions come up. And again, it's going to have to be something we all decide where that line is drawn and where it starts and where it takes off from. So we'll just have that on the agenda for next month. and
Right, because that's
talk
going to
about
take a
more
lot
in
of,
depth.
a lot of discussion.
Did you want to go over that fiduciary statement idea, or do you want to put that off until next week?
Well,
or next month?
that's part of it.
So we'll just do all of that next month?
Right.
Table all that till next month.
Mhm.
Will you receive any communications? Anybody?
We just had, like I said, Fire Prevention Week, October 8th through 10th down at Home Depot. The earthquake class we're going to put on the website tonight is September 23rd at the Roseburg Public Safety Building, $1,600 to $1,730.
Anybody else? No. Good to the order?
Whatever happened to closing the safe deposit box?
We have not done that yet. We just need to go down there.
Because the deadline's looming.
Well, we need to vote on it. Since you brought it up, let's just vote on it again right now. We'll put it in the minutes, and that's all I need. So I need a motion to close the safety deposit box.
I make a motion to close the safe deposit box.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Just for the audience, if you don't remember, we have now a fire safe that we're going to use for that purpose, and we're going to close the safety deposit box as it currently exists at the bank, or excuse me, the credit union. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Anything else under good of the order? Anybody? Yes, ma'am?
Several meetings ago, you did say there was 3 people that were very interested in having the secretary position. Did they pan out or fizzle?
None of them want to be secretary. So we're kind of holding out for that. Some of them are still interested in the director position. And they're having a very difficult time wanting to get involved. Just time-wise, everything else. You know, it's a heck of a commitment.
Okay. Just curious, we haven't heard any more on it.
No, haven't gotten anybody to be really firm on the deal. Don't laugh, Gary, it's not funny. Public question and answer? Yes, sir?
I have a question for Steve. The gentleman you have designated as doing the research on the AED,
Yeah.
have you got anything on that
You
yet?
know, Chris has had a family loss and he's been gone for about a week and a half.
Okay.
And he was only supposed to be gone a few days. I just found out today that it extended longer.
Okay.
And man, we've been putting you off for a long time. I'm sorry for that, but you know, we do appreciate that you keep coming back.
Yes.
For now,
There's been a whole
yeah. We'll get to the first of the year, we may
Okay,
get that
well,
money for
we'll do.
something else.
I'll get it there faster. It's been a whole parade of errors with salesmen and everything else, and I'm getting
Okay.
kind of tired of it myself.
All right.
Just tell him right now how much you want.
I'll
You're
tell
a
him.
chit
I'll
chat.
tell him first.
Any other questions? Comments?
Yeah.
I get-
I do.
Oh.
I got a request here for some information. It says to turn it into the administrative assistant, but I don't think you have one unless it's Steve.
We don't have
I
that.
haven't changed that before.
I'll take it.
And then I'd like to know if maybe Kent can answer this. Some information was given out from the bank that shouldn't have been. And I'd like to know if you'd be willing to give me the name of the person that did that.
Can you be more explicit which information that would be?
The information concerning the bank account for the Firemen's Association that my wife is on. And some comments were made about that.
There were comments made about that?
Won't go any farther.
Wait.
I'm talking to Kent.
It was Bob that.
I was the one that did that. I was the one that got that information. I was the one that was
You
provided
can give me
to.
the name of the person that gave you the information?
Well, sure, it's president of the bank, Brad. The reason that all occurred is that there was a link between that. We went over this at a previous meeting. I think we've straightened it all out.
No, we haven't.
Well, you can do whatever you want personally, Gary. As far as we were concerned, it was a mistake on their part, but the 2 accounts they thought were interlinked between the district and the Volunteer Fire Association. And that was the whole reason that happened. I turned everything over to Steve that we had received, so none of that information went out. As far as whatever comments...
Should have never left the bank.
Well, maybe it shouldn't have, but the way that it was established is it was connected between the 2 accounts.
No.
And so you can go in and talk to him and do whatever you need to do with him, but I didn't see there was any harm or foul to it. And as was requested at the meeting, I think it was Tom that made the request, all the information went to Steve. There are no copies. There's nothing recorded on it. And we all agreed that that information was Volunteer Firefighter Association information and none of our business. So, and we made that official at the meeting. But you're welcome to talk to Brad. He's a pretty good guy. I think it was just an honest mistake on how their computer spit it out.
Okay.
And if you'd like me to go, I'd be happy to do so with you.
No.
Any other, yes, sir, Bruce?
No, never mind.
Any other questions, anybody? Move to adjourn? Second, anybody?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
You too, Dave.
Really in trouble.
Are we going to do things then, or
I don't think that Steve should have to do this. This is a public information request. That's not your job. That's not Steve's job.
I'll go on Saturday.